Tails. Hello, and welcome to Storytime with Isto. You've reached chapter 25 of Tarot Tales, a weekly gathering where I tell a little-known fairy tale based on a randomly drawn tarot card every week. And those of you that have been following along know that this week we are talking about the Knight of Wands, this gorgeous card. But before we dive into that, most of you may have noticed that I'm trying out a couple of different things during this season, and tonight is no different. So with that, I would like to welcome a very special guest, my partner, Michael. Come on in, Michael. Hi, welcome. So thanks for joining me here today.
You're welcome.
So I'd like to ask you, since we're talking about the Knight of Wands today, what kinds of things you notice when you are seeing this card?
Well,
Here, I'll let you just hold it so you can take a look.
okay. Yeah, I mean, it seems like the horse is a little chonky, which, is good for him or her. It looked like from afar that this like thing that the knight is wearing, I saw faces, but now I see lizards on it. So there's lizards. And he's holding a stick. Or a wand, I guess. It's a wand.
That's right. Okay, and so like if you were to make some divinatory meaning from this, what energies would you say you're seeing?
I would say maybe like I'm getting like this vibe, like, he doesn't have a sword. He has a stick, so maybe he's like, trying to make do and like forge forward with, whatever he has. So maybe like there's like some kind of like hope or optimism in that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, anything else?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he's leading the charge. It looks like he's going into a desert. I see, like some pyramids in the background. So, maybe he's forging a path, like going to a new area or something.
Yeah. All that's really good. So when we talk about the Knight of Wands, a couple of things pop out. So one, I'm glad that you got that these are salamanders, which is actually what I've drawn here on the beverage book here, that exact same kind of salamander there, which is associated with, do you know what element?
Fire.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. And so then if you look at the actual image, you'll notice the mane is made of fire. We've got this fire imagery in the cape and then on the plume. So it's hidden there. And that's also why we're kind of in this desert, because it's this hot and arid space. And you're right. The horse is actually up and charging forward, which it's not doing in the other night cards. And this card represents like fiery ambition, going forward, kind of chasing your dreams.
Even if you only have a stick.
Even if you only have a stick, which is the wands are also really associated with fire and ambition. And that's exactly the story that we've got. You take it upside down. Maybe you don't have as much ambition. Maybe you don't exactly know where you're headed. But we drew it face up, so we've got a good story for that. For our drink this week, we're drinking something called the Crocodile Bump, which is a take on a paper plane. And I'm really curious to see if you like this. So hold on. We got a cheers.
Oh, okay.
So
did you say crocodile or crocodile?
Crocodile.
Oh, okay. You did say crocodile.
Did I? I don't know. Tell me in the chat. All right.
You said crocodile.
What do you think?
It's pretty good. What's in that? Is that lemon?
It's lemon, bitters, amaro, whiskey. Yeah, and that's it. Shaken with like a little lemon twist.
Is this where I put mine here?
Yeah, you're allowed to put yours there.
Wow.
You got your little set.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tonight's story is from Lesotho. Do you know anything about Lesotho?
No.
No, you don't know anything about Lesotho?
No, nothing.
Do you know what continent it's in?
Is it in Africa?
Correct. Do you know where in Africa?
No.
You didn't look this up
I
after we were
you told me not to look it up.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna give you like till the count of 5 to try and find it on this outdated map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's pretty hard to find Lesotho on a map because it is hidden right down here in the middle of South Africa. And in fact, it's one of the largest landlocked countries in the world. Can you name either of the other landlocked countries on the planet?
Other landlocked countries on the planet?
There's 2 others.
Huh.
Entirely landlocked by one country. So they're a country inside of another country.
Oh. Interesting.
Let us know in the chat if you know what it is.
Luxembourg? No.
No.
No, you mean within a country?
It's within the same country.
Oh, Kosovo?
No, it's not.
Really?
Yeah. When I tell you, you're going to kick yourself. It's Vatican City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like cheating. And then I forget what the other one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the guesses, Ellie, in the chat. All right, so let's dive in. Lesotho is right in the middle of South Africa. And that I've got a really fantastic story for you all. That it has a really strong primary female character, and it's called Nanabolele. And so, since I think it would be a little weird for me to just read from you, we're gonna try this little awkward thing where I'm just gonna tell you this story.
It doesn't have to be awkward if you don't make it awkward.
That's true. But just in case you feel like doodling, I've got you this cardboard here. So if you want to do any drawing or noting or anything, this is for you to occupy yourself in case you don't know what to do with your hands.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so a long time ago, when our parents, grandparents, parents were just children, there lived a chief and his 3 children, and that chief died. Sad. And he left behind the 2 brothers and the 1 older sister. Her name was Thakane. And
what was it?
Thakane.
Thakane?
Thakane. Thakane.
Okay.
And so she took kind of the motherly role with her brothers. And so she did things like grind corn to make porridge, and cooking the meat that was brought in from the hunt. She would go and she would collect water for her brothers to drink. And she took them to school. And when they eventually became of age, excellent. So we've got the dead chieftain, Thakane, and her 2 brothers. And when they eventually came of age, it was time for them to ascend into manhood, which would require them to get circumcised in the Mafado. Have you ever heard the term Mafado before?
No. Are you gonna tell me what it is?
Yeah, so it kind of looks like this. There are different variations of it, but it's basically just an African lodge. And as I was reading this story, I thought that I was always thinking of like a hut, which I guess is just probably internalized racism. But it's actually like this really big, expansive structure. And this is where schools are. There wasn't a whole lot of information I could find immediately online, but it seems like this is kind of like a lodge where different ceremonies would occur. So she took her brothers to the Mafado to get circumcised. And then she brought them clothes for them to like come out in the celebration following their ascension to manhood. But the brothers refused to take the clothes that Thakane brought them. They insisted that the clothes that they were going to wear needed to be made of Nanabolele. This is where you ask what Nanabolele is.
Oh, what's that?
Haven't you been curious since I asked you to write a song about it?
Yes, I have been curious, but I didn't look it up because I didn't want to ruin the magic.
It would actually be kind of hard to find it. But Nanabolele is a fun it's not fun. It's like a very strong predatory water dragon that lives underground that has a shiny skin that glows like the moon at nighttime. So it's this massive predatory creature, and so it would be really dangerous for her to have to go and collect Nanabolele skin.
Hmm.
So she was like, why do you need to do this? And they were really sad. And they were basically like, if our father, the chieftain, had survived, then he would have brought us Nanabolele's skin. And so she consented. And so she sent out word around the town to the rest of her tribe. And she said, come with me, gather with me in the morning. And then the next morning, they all gathered. And she said, pick the bravest among you. And I'm going to need some of you to come on this journey with me. We're going to go hunt down Nanabolele so that I can provide my brothers what they're wanting, what they were missing as a result of their father dying. So it's very sweet. She's taking care of her two brothers. And also like a total badass move. And so some of them stepped forward because they understood the significance of this moment. And they filled up calabashes filled with beer. Do you know what a calabash is?
I'm gonna guess it's sort of like a canteen.
Yeah, exactly. So this is kind of what a calabash looks like. It's actually like a melon gourd, and it grows on trees. But particularly in different parts of the world, if they're hollowed out, they can be filled with different kinds of liquid, and so can be used to carry water or beer or other things like that.
Gorgeous.
Boo!
Oh my gourd.
Oh no. So they filled up calabashes filled with beer, with water. They got a whole bunch of food, corn balls, put them on oxen. I knew you'd like that. And then they set.
What's a corn ball?
I actually didn't look that up. I just assumed a mixed up ball of corn.
Like a fritter? Corn ball?
Maybe. I'm not
Oh,
entirely.
okay.
So, and then they loaded everything up on an oxen and they set out. On a pack of oxen, and they set out. And so they were looking for water in particular because that's where the Nanabolele lived. And so they kept walking away from their village until they found the first stream of water that they didn't know. And it was pretty broad. And so they were a little nervous and they thought maybe the Nanabolele live under here. And so they took a piece of killed oxen and then they put it in the water because this was a meat-eating predator. And then Takane sang a song, which you wrote, and I'll sing the first version of it. Yeah?
What song?
Oh my gosh, okay.
You have to teach me the song.
So Takane sang Nanabolele, Nanabolele, the sons of the chief, Nanabolele, they want shields, Nanabolele, shoes from the skin of Nanabolele, blankets from the skin of Nanabolele, and hats from the skin of Nanabolele. And then all of a sudden, the water started trembling. And everyone that she brought with her was terrified because they thought this meat-eating dragon was going to jump out of the water and kill them all.
Because they sang so badly?
How dare you? And instead, a little frog hopped out.
Oh.
Do you have a good frog voice?
No.
Okay, great. The frog hopped out and said, that's more like a pigeon, isn't it?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Go farther. I can't. Where you can dip water in the husk of a poison plant. There you will find the Nanabolele. They were confused by this, and so they continued on their search until they found a even deeper river. They passed a whole bunch of rivers, but they were like, okay, we don't understand this clue that the frog gave us. They eventually stumbled upon a deeper river, and they decided to try it again. So they threw in an even bigger piece of oxen, and Takane sang,
Nanabolele, Nanabolele, the sons of the chief, Nanabolele, they want shields, Nanabolele, shoes from the skin of Nanabolele, blankets from the skin of Nanabolele, and hats from the skin of Nanabolele.
Excellent. Thank you. And so then the water started churning again. And then again, the whole group of people that were with him were terrified. They were like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And again, the little frog popped out. And the frog said, you don't listen. You must go to the place where water touches Leshoma. This is where you ask me what Leshoma is.
Oh, I know.
Oh, do you? What is it?
No, I don't know. Tell me.
So, Leshoma, what do you notice on this card that I'm showing you right now?
I notice bloodshot eyes and a plant.
Okay, cool. So the plant itself is toxic, and so I put its scientific name under there, but it actually spells out the word ox killer, which I've written underneath. And this is originally endemic to Africa and would kill oxen if they ate it. It also goes by the name century plant, which you may have heard, and it's like spread around the world a little bit more now. But apparently, if you eat enough of it, it can cause psychedelic properties, which is why I drew these kind of bloodshot, like pupil dilated eyes. But that's the toxic plant that the frog was referring to. So now they know what they're actually looking for. They're looking for this Leshoma, and so they start wandering around again, and they find river after river after river, and then finally they stop at a massive lake that has no end that they can see. And this time they kill one of their oxen and they cook it over a fire, and then they push it into the lake, and once again they sing, Nanabolele, Nanabolele, the sons of the chief, Nanabolele, they want shields, Nanabolele, shoes from the skin of Nanabolele, legs from the skin of Nanabolele, and hats from the skin of Nanabolele. Excellent. So again, the water quakes and it trembles, and then all of a sudden up comes
Nanabolele.
No.
A frog.
No. An old woman. There's no reason you would have known that.
Oh.
The old woman comes out and addresses the woman by name. She goes, Fakane, what do you want? Do you have a good old woman voice?
Yes.
Fakane. Can you give me a Fakane?
Fakane.
What do you want?
What do you want?
What are you doing here? And she explains that her brothers won't leave the Mopato unless they bring skin of Nanabolele for them to walk out on. She says, okay, follow me. And so she turns around and walks back into the lake. The Kane is terrified because she's brought all of these people all of this way, but decides to walk into the water and follow this old woman that she found. So she starts walking and goes underwater and finds that she's actually able to breathe underwater. And the whole group of people that she brought with her also go under and they can breathe. And they find that there's this massive underwater space with rivers of its own, and it looks like a whole new landscape. And they follow the underwater river all the way to this massive village, which is just like a village on land, but there's nobody else there. There's no children, there's no dogs, there's no chicken. It's eerily quiet. So they ask the old woman, grandmother, what happened here? She goes, the Nanabolele killed everyone. They killed all the children. They killed all the dogs. They killed all the chickens. So they were like, but what about you? She goes, oh, no, I'm too old and gamey. They wouldn't kill me. So she survived, and they kept her around to take care of the Nanabolele. So for a second, they thought, oh my God, this woman's actually going to feed us to the Nanabolele. She says, no, I want to help you, because they had killed like everyone that she knew, had known and loved. And so she hides them on a deep hole and covers it with reeds right as the Nanabolele start rumbling forward. And it sounds like a brrr, durum, durum, durum is the sound. Do you have like a good like oxen stampede sound? Yeah, that works. Excellent. And so all the Nanabolele come in, and they're exhausted from the hunt, but they actually aren't able to fall asleep because they smell humans. So at this point, what do you think Nanabolele sound like?
Humans.
Yeah, exactly, right. So they're sniffing around, but they cannot find where the humans are, and they eventually fall asleep. So the old woman wakes them up and says, now's your time to go. So they hop out, they find the biggest Nanabolele, and they slit its throat in the middle of the night, but silently so that it doesn't wake any of the other Nanabolele. They skin the Nanabolele, and they make to get out of the lake. But they leave behind some of the oxen for the old woman so that she has sustenance and whatnot. And in exchange, the old woman gives them this tiny little pebble, and she puts it in Thakane's hand and says, "When you see the red cloud of dust, that's going to be your sign that the Nanabolele are following you in the sand. Drop this pebble on the ground, and it will grow into a massive mountain. Do your best to stay on top of the peak, and then the Nanabolele will not be able to reach you." And so she takes the pebble, and they all run to the edge of the water. They get out, breathe fresh air, and it's night. And the Nanabolele skin is glowing in the night. It's just as bright as the moon is. And so it guides their path as they make their way back towards their village. And about midday, when the sun is up again, they see the red clouds in the distance. So Thakane drops the pebble on the ground. It grows into a massive mountain, and everyone scrambles to try and stay on the peak. And then finally they sit and wait because they can't go anywhere else as all 100 of the Nanabolele rush up to the mountain and then try to climb to get up and eat them to avenge their friend's death. But they can't do it because it's so steep and so slippery that they just keep falling down. So they keep trying to get up, they fall down, keep trying to get up, they fall down until they pass out and they fall asleep. And the second that they fall asleep, the mountain crumbles back down into like a tiny little pebble. The Kane picks it up and they keep moving. This happens 2 more times during the next 2 days until they finally make it back home. And then Thakane calls all the dogs in the village together and has them sick on the Nanabolele. And so when the Nanabolele come back, the dogs go and they attack the Nanabolele, and they're like freaking out. They're like, "Oh my God, what's going on with all these dogs?" For some reason, they're scared. They turn around, they run back home, and they're safe. They're safe. Thakane breathes a sigh of relief and pride now that they're gone. She goes to a leather maker, says, "I need you to make all of these clothes of Nanabolele skin." She goes back to the Mopado, and gives the clothes to her brothers, who are so excited because none of the other boys have clothes like hers. And then they go out and they open up the calabashes of beer. They cook great, great meat, and they have a celebration deep into the night when at nighttime their clothes start to glow like the moonlight, and they shine, and they go on to have really famous lives, and everyone all over the continent talks about this famous skin, the famous clothing, and the Nanabolele. But the thing that they most talk about is Thakane's bravery and her sense of duty towards her family. And that's the end.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that a cute little story?
It is cute, yeah.
What kind of things do you think it has in relation to the Knight of Wands? Can you pick up any themes based on what I told you?
Well, the knight is forging into, and it's fiery, like into the desert, and just like the Kane forged into the river to go get this thing and take on this task.
Absolutely.
I don't know what else.
Well, I really like it for this because we've got the salamander, and we've got these kind of like serpent-like creatures in the actual story. So I feel like that's a good parallel. We're in the desert, and so I think that's a good parallel for like the setting of everything else. But the kind of like bravery, ambition, and like moving forward, even if you don't necessarily have a plan, I think is actually pretty solid for the story that we've got.
You want to see my Nanabolele?
Oh yeah, please. Let's see.
It's the Nanabolele.
Oh my God! Wow, look at that.
You got that. The hat, and that's the shield that they make from the skin, and those are the shoes. And then that's the old lady.
Oh wow!
Oh, and those are the corn balls.
Oh, I saw these scissors and I saw these corn balls, and I thought that they were castrating, not circumcising the boys in your picture. And so we were gonna have a conversation later but this is great. I really wanted to see your interpretation of a Nanabolele, so I'm glad we got that.
Yeah, it's
Thank
kind
you
of
very much.
A pig eel. Is kind of what I.
Pig eel is excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's it. That's all we got this week. I'm I've got a gratitude, first of all, to you. Thank you for agreeing to come out and doing this.
Oh, you're welcome.
Stop it. And then I've got my other one, but I'm wondering if you have a gratitude this week.
Oh, wow, putting me on the spot.
I told him there was going to be a gratitude.
I did forget about it.
It's okay. You don't have to have a gratitude.
Yeah, I would say gratitude to my little creative cluster.
Aww.
We're getting together and talking about creative things, and I don't know, it's been fun.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I love that. And then my thank you or my gratitude in regards to this idea of strength goes out to my friend Lyndon, who always exemplifies strength both. Stop it. Exemplifies strength both emotionally and in terms of the fierceness with which she tackles her problems with the ambition. So I thought that was very fitting for this week. And with that, it's time to close out until next week.
Do you always burn your gratitudes?
No, I'm trying different things each week. I think it's nice to kind of like burn a gratitude, though. It's got like a nice symbolism to it. No? He has notes. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you treat yourself with love and respect. May you continue to grow and find the strength to persevere through the painful parts of growth. May you find inspiration all around you, and may you find peace. Until next week, thank you for joining us this week. May you be happy. May you be sad. May you be full of love.